Call to order the Emergency Services Efficiency Committee on March 14th, 2023 at 6:23 p.m. First order of business is seating of alternates. We have no alternates to seat, so we will move on to present to speak. Seeing no one present to speak, we are moving on to chairman's minute. So the reason I'm calling you out here in this lovely weather for a very short meeting tonight is I want to get back into the rhythm of having meetings. And talking to Alex at the last meeting, it seemed like the second Tuesday was a good day to have it. So I went into the first selectman's office and we're scheduled from here on out on the first Tuesday, second Tuesday of the month at 6:30. I moved it to 6:15 today because after announcing this meeting, I was suddenly informed that although I hadn't appeared in any public forum yet, that there was a town meeting tonight. So we're going to try to speed through this to get to the town meeting. That's what I want to get done on the chairman's minute. All right, discussion of budget conformity uniformity. Next item. The one thing I noticed at the Board of Finance meeting when you guys presented, other than topics which we may discuss in executive session later, is that the budget's lined up very nicely, except for a number of items like the pagers. The pagers were what caught my eye, is that you guys have pagers under one line item, which is the way I think it should be, and you guys have pagers under miscellaneous equipment or something. It's not. And I don't know.
You have it under new equipment or something like that, I think.
I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, it was under something else, so it wasn't readily apparent. You needed them, and I had already questioned you about them, so then I had to question them about, but if you could line up your stuff about the same order and make the same things apparent, that not only helps, I think, the Board of Finance figure out that, yes, we're all doing the same thing, but that we've talked to each other about it and it doesn't look like it.
Other than pagers?
I don't remember anything right offhand, but then again, I didn't dig into it real deep. I just, you guys have one guy that runs your budget paperwork. Right, and you guys got one guy that, and maybe your guy could talk to their guy and.
If it's just a simple taking the same product out, the same line.
Yeah, that's all
I
I
can
want.
easily have Jeremy change it.
Yeah.
Just
No, I don't know what else they have that, that kind of thing. And if you have like trucks and then like rescues and then like building stuff and put everything in the same order.
Was the difference on the spreadsheet that gets submitted for the budget request Donna's sort of spreadsheets, or was it on their individual budget
It was on-
reports, like that their treasurer produces?
No, it was on the Donna sheet.
Okay, so that's something that should be easy to line
That
up,
should be
because those
easy
are
to-
the
that's
same
right.
line items used for both
Right,
departments.
that's what I'm saying.
So, yeah,
Just
that
keep
should
the
be easy
same
to
kind
fix.
of items into each item limit. That's all I have on that. Any questions, any comments, anything further?
We'll work together to clear it up.
Beautiful. The other thing I noticed, I was going through the town website and I already talked to you about this. There's a big red warning on there and you click on it and there's a very official letter from the two chiefs saying, due to COVID, we're shutting down our facilities to the public.
Which was supposed to be removed a while ago, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys should even,
Where?
On the
right
town
on the
website.
front page.
The
of
front page of the
website.
town website, there's still a link to it,
Yeah.
fire stations closed due to COVID-19.
Yeah, and I don't know if you want to just remove it and kind of, or whether you actually want to write a letter saying,
We'll just have them remove it, but technically our station's closed anyway now, so.
yeah. Well, that changed since I talked to you.
Different
last.
time.
You can, might as
I was
well
very-
leave it up there, man. Might as well have me.
We'll change it from COVID to mold or something.
COVID-23.
COVID 23.
All right, the next. Yeah.
Yeah, so Alex, you
That's
wanna
what- that's just
take
what
care
we-
of that? Because you could just change it, so our station's open, yours is due to construction or whatever. Just have it changed.
Yeah, and then,
Word it however you wanna word it.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have it say staff's needed, they go to 143 River Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so however you wanna word it, just make it so Station 49 is open to public.
Tish, I think, manages that stuff.
This, may be an opportunity to, emphasize the need for new walls inside that letter. I'm just saying, not saying, just a suggestion.
No comment.
Moving on to option 7. She didn't think I could do it.
Wow.
I noticed at the Board of Finance that one of our members on the Board of Finance has decided that we don't need 24/7 EMS because Stafford doesn't have 24/7 EMS. and so- Or Colin doesn't have
We were
24/7
talking about this
EMS.
the other day.
So that, why should we? And it was pointed out that people get sick and hurt and die and stuff like that. And I don't remember her exact quote, but was.
So this is a very easy topic for me to address.
All right,
Chief Snyder, myself, the chairman of the Board of Finance, and the first selectman, and President Gantick, all just sat in a room and went over all of this.
oh, good.
Yes.
And then the need to have the two people together, not together, but there needs to be two people. Neither department and us as a whole do not have the volunteer base to run an ambulance at night.
Right,
We don't. Nobody, I think the last time we were running volunteers, Tom Smith and Jerry Chartier were the two that were helping us the most. And even they got to the point of, we gotta do something. This 3 o'clock in the morning driving to Hartford is getting old.
yes.
Um,
No, I am 100% in agreement with that.
um,
Chief, can I comment on that also?
What's that?
Do you mind if I
Absolutely.
comment on that? I don't think you're gonna find an argument amongst this group about that at
You're
all. And I think the difficulty is, and there have been a lot of conversation about a lot of topics that are mutual aid and crossing town lines, and that can be kind of complicated. And I think it is, you and I just talked the other day about how it was kind of an odd balance of staffing in some towns where they have very heavy staffing at certain times of day and light or no staffing at certain times of day. And so what that does, depending on the time of day, it shifts the mutual aid.
Right.
And so it sort of shifts almost the responsibility to other people.
Yeah.
But I know that's not an easy thing to manage.
It's not an easy thing to manage. It's not an easy thing to.
It's not an easy thing to address with another town, but it is a challenge.
It is.
And if we were to go to mutual aid at night, that would put a heavy burden on the University of Connecticut, which I'm sure they are tired of coming to Wellington.
Right.
And they don't want to do.
Yeah, and the more you go to Tolland or Stafford or wherever else, the more UConn's gonna have to come here.
Right.
And there is some misconception because in some of the questioning that we've gotten back is about the second ambulance. Of what it's costing to staff that second ambulance.
And you're not staffing.
We're not staffing that second
Right.
ambulance. There's no staff on that second ambulance. That is strictly done by the volunteers if it were to get out.
Mhm.
Right.
I think because of mechanical issues, it's not even an option lately, but.
Oh, is the first ambulance running now? Last I heard it was being towed to someplace.
The red one is still out of service. The newer one's still out of service. We have it, it's just out of service.
So you're counting on the Green Monster.
Green Monster.
Knock on wood. Hasn't let us, no, I'm not even saying it. Not even saying it.
That's the only thing to do.
So,
He said it on the 14th.
yeah, so. As far as, we can't go backwards.
No.
In our opinion.
No,
And
I'm 100% in agreement.
I will fight.
It's
tooth and
just
nail
that
for
I-
finance on that.
I want to make sure that we're all aware of the issue so that we're all hitting it in the same direction and that I was just hoping that the rest of you would find it as insane as I did.
I
To
know.
cut off third shift.
They did pose, we did get a lot of questions, late last night. For Thursday's meeting that they want by tomorrow morning, and with all of the other stuff happening, that's just not. But, we're running all the statistics that we possibly can to show what we're doing, where the money, Excellent. and the money, you know, we get it as much as everybody else, is Fund 17 is not generating what anyone would hope. And most of that's out of our control, I mean, there's not,
I think that was part of the discussion with Union too, is that Fund 17 is.
so, and I wanted to bring this up because they made a statement at last week's Board of Finance meeting. When they looked at the agreement between the town of Stafford and the town of Somers, that there is an agreement between the two towns for ALS services. And that maybe we should have an agreement between the town of, that we should have an agreement of some sort between the town of Union and the town of Wellington, which we are working on.
Mhm.
There is the old saying of, it's very hard to get somebody to negotiate if they're not willing to sit at the table and negotiate. We
Mhm.
finally have them, that they're willing to sit at the table and negotiate. But if we were to go off the matrices, the same or a similar matrix that Stafford and Somers are using, we're talking $6,000.
Yeah,
Stafford's paying 40,000 for 600 roughly 600 calls.
yeah, no,
So,
that's, I.
Yeah, and
thought
you're
the
talking, what,
12,000
80
was-
calls?
Was very.
80
very
total,
reasonable.
50 transports, 80% of those 58 transports. 80% of those 58 transports are off the highway, not even town residents, nothing to do with the town.
Right.
Of the Union. 80% of that's from the highway. So
Yeah, I'm just,
they are at least willing to sit at the table. I don't know if I'm gonna get $50,000 or $60,000.
no,
That's what they, that's, you know, that's one of the statements that was made last week at the Board of Finance, and I understand the
Right.
frustrations on the Board of Finance's end, I really do.
well, they're taking they're looking at the wrong equation, they're not putting all the different parts
Right.
in the equation. And I tried to point that out, that it's not 2 variables, it's more like 12 variables, and
So
quite
we
honestly, if you got between 6 and 12, I'd be kind of surprised and very happy.
we got 12.5 last year,
Yeah, but that
I
was-
don't know,
Yeah,
I just don't know, I can't give a number that we're not there with.
all right. I understand, I just want to make sure that we're still on, I'm like that boss that wanders into your office every now and again, how are we doing with the Alpha project? You know, I just want to make sure we're still working in the right direction. And then we're all on the same page. All right, moving on. Seeing as how we're all in violent agreement on that one. CIP. I think it looks like everybody's getting their CIP request for this year. It looks like you're gonna need more CIP money for mold remediation.
Yeah.
Either that or it's gonna have to come out of the fund balance. It's gotta come from someplace. Because I don't think there's any CIP money left, so that looks like it's fund balance money.
Right, so you guys said you were working with, started talking to an architect?
Yeah, we started talking to architect, engineer, just to get, basic drawings of what our needs are. And, we're almost there. And again, it's just basic needs, and it would be fine tuned after if the budget goes through as is with the
Right.
CIP request. It would be fine tuned into blueprints, so we'll be right where you guys are.
Right,
We
so
would have
our hope
blueprints.
is to go for engineering plans. What did they say? 120, yeah. So they said, we met with the architect last week, they gave us our update as to where we are right now, if we were not to change anything from the original design. We were expecting it to be like 4.5 is what we had averaged. We're at lesser, we're at 2.9 with contingencies. 2.9 would build the exact thing that we had the blueprints for. Well, that's with.
What I want to make sure is that when you get your program and they get their program together, that your engineer and both groups sit together and say,
Right.
these are our programmatic needs, where are we going?
Right, and that's
Kinda
what
like
we,
the school building.
Right.
committee did.
so the one thing that we did find out last week is we were under the impression to get the final engineering drawings, all of that done, we needed about $80,000. They said last week, because of the price increases on everything, it's 121.
Of course,
So we're approved for 80.
yeah,
It's coming up with the other 40 now and we just got told this last week,
all
so.
right.
You can probably get pretty close, and what you just have to do is limit some scope.
Yeah.
And you could probably get everything you need
To
and
go to bid.
and the last to go to bid, right? And the last could be designed as part of the bid package.
Yes, and that's what, yeah.
Yeah.
So, obviously, depending, it's all depending on how long we wait, or, will the price go up, how much it'll go up, but we at least have updated
Right.
build picture, or a build price now.
All right, so the only thing I want to say about CIP is listening to some of the people, and is that CIP, the way it's currently configured, is going to blow out of proportion soon within this 5-year cycle, and unless something is drastically reduced. So keep that in mind and be on your toes and ready to move. That goes for everybody. Yeah, the way I understand this last CIP, they didn't really tell anybody flat no, so everything got approved in plans, and
Well, so I think some stuff did get pushed out and
It got
maybe
pushed
it
out,
didn't
it did.
affect
Right.
the fire department stuff. I don't know, because I wasn't part of it, but
Right.
what I heard was some stuff got pushed out and spread out over certain years. And,
but nothing was completely cut out of the plan, so
right,
all that money was taken into account someplace.
yeah,
So about year 4 or 5, things get a little wild.
Hmm.
And then in looking at the plan, you can tell that because they
Yeah.
got $800,000 to spend, and the plan anticipates like $3.5 million to spend or something, so.
But that includes the.
I
school
think
stuff.
that includes the school money, which.
No, that was just CIP's plan.
I think CIP includes the bond, the
Alright.
bond payment for the school, I think is in the
In
CIP
CIP,
plan, which is why you get that big spike.
Yeah, but I think there was a lot of other stuff in there, if I remember correctly, I
Oh, yeah,
don't
there's-
remember.
It's a lot.
Anyways, so, CIP, I don't think I had anything, we want to get mold remediation onto the radar of the,
Well, so
Board of Finance as soon as possible.
Well, it already is, Stephanie was.
Stephanie was there at the
Right.
meeting. And that was the main reason.
She's going.
On the radar. See, you asked, it was done an hour before you asked.
That's how good
I'm assuming there will be some generalized. It's not gonna be on the agenda Thursday night's meeting, but I'm assuming that there will be an announcement to the board of the.
All right,
FYI.
And FYI, this is,
yeah, good.
the hard part, we have absolutely no idea what will be covered, what won't be covered through insurance purposes, costs, we have nothing.
If you could get a guesstimate within a couple $100,000.
2.9.
100,000.
That's good, there, a couple $100,000.
I mean, just for mold remediation, but yeah, okay, that was a nice move.
Well, and we're gonna be honest, we have, so it's not just remediating, it's trying to
It's
figure
fix-
out how to fix.
The water coming in so you don't get it
Yeah,
back.
the giant hill behind you that's pumping water into your foundation.
Yeah,
Probably a drainage problem that wasn't taken care
There used to be a big stone thing out behind the building there.
there's still
Like,
stone.
is there still stone? Maybe it's all plugged up and it's not running.
Set it up, no,
Anyways,
but it's.
all right, we need to find more information on that, that's all, and I know you know that.
We've only just begun.
of. Yeah.
I know.
So we cannot open the walls until we have the stuff out of there.
Yep.
Because as soon as you open the walls, it causes more of it to breathe,
Right,
It expands.
it expands, it's going to take. I can't, okay, it's gonna be a few weeks before we get that firehouse empty. There's a lot of stuff in there.
all right, the next thing I want is, from you guys, is over the next 2 or 3 weeks, start thinking of what needs to be discussed in agenda items, any problems you're having, that kind of thing that we can discuss, so that I can add it to next agenda.
Mold. Firehouses.
Yeah, I've got those. But, if anything else comes up,
Okay.
any mutual aid issues, for instance, I don't know. I'm just coming up with stuff off the top of my head now.
Pete, can I interrupt for a second?
Sure,
How close are you to the end?
very,
Like a minute or so?
2 minutes.
Okay. 'Cause I have
Um,
to be at Hall School.
so I've set the future meeting dates for the second Tuesday at 6:30. I hope that works for everybody. Correspondence, I have no correspondence. I would like some. Good and welfare, I'm good. Is anybody on welfare?
Coming
No, we're
close.
good. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Second,
Second.
Aye.
Aye, good, we're there.
meeting ended at 6:43 PM.
Look at that.